it's Emmy from Frugal Money Saver. Little extra video this week. I just wanted to give you some ideas on what to do with some of those holiday leftovers. Before you ditch them in the garbage, take a peek at this video. We're using up a little turkey in an amazing turkey Tetrazzini recipe. Then I show you how to freeze your leftover turkey, the carcass for soup. We're going to make some cranberry muffins made out of cranberry sauce with a little eggnog added. Just some fun recipes so that we don't have food waste. This is the channel Frugal Money Saver. My husband and I are an early retirement couple living in the state of New York. And we just show you how to live life more abundantly with less money. Perfect example, zero food waste. We don't want to waste food because wasting food is not only sad, it is a money waster. It's like taking your money and just throwing it in the garbage. So here's a quick video. I hope it blesses you, and let's get to work. This morning I want to touch upon zero food waste again. I'm sure if you look in your refrigerator and you cooked for Thanksgiving, there are a couple leftovers in there for sure. What I want to do is show you how to use them up quickly, efficiently, and freeze what we are not going to be using right now. The turkey was cooked 3 days ago, which means either we need to use it up today or get it in the freezer. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm also going to show you how to use up some cranberry sauce and some eggnog in a delightful muffin recipe. Super easy. Using up what we have, we don't want to waste food. So if we can create something else with it, muffins will pop into the freezer beautifully. And then when you want them, you just take them out and let them defrost. This original recipe did call for milk, which you certainly can use, but I have some eggnog I want to use up. So I am just going to sub out the eggnog for the milk, and I think it's going to be just delicious. First thing we're going to do to make our cranberry sauce muffins is 2 cups all-purpose flour. To the flour, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That helps the baking powder rise. And it called for a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. But being that I'm using eggnog and not milk, I am going to put a little nutmeg in because I think nutmeg goes really well with eggnog. So that's a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. But if you're using milk, then by all means, put in about a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I always will link the original recipe down below too. These are my modifications. Now I'm just going to take this dry ingredients and give it a good whisk. Break up those little clumps of brown sugar. So for our wet ingredients, we're going to put in, if you're using milk, by all means use milk. I'm using eggnog because I want to use it up, and I'm going to put in 3/4 of a cup of eggnog. This is non-alcoholic, please. This is not alcoholic. This is just regular eggnog. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil or canola oil, any kind of mild tasting oil you may have. I'm going to put in 1 egg, and I'm going to put in 1 cup of my leftover cranberry sauce. Now I make mine from scratch. I use fresh cranberries and I put some walnuts and raisins in it, but whatever kind of cranberry sauce you have left over, long as you have a cup of it, this recipe will work perfectly. Because cranberry sauce is that kind of ingredient that what do you do with? After you've put it on your sandwiches or, the last 2 days, you're like, oh goodness, we still have some left. And this is just a perfect recipe. So that's all incorporated. Now what we're going to do is, because this is a muffin, the least amount of mixing and incorporating is the best. So I'm just going to take this and I'm adding it right to my dry ingredients. And we're literally just fold this in and mix it gently. Did you see how easy this was? You just want to mix it till it's completely moistened, and you certainly don't want to beat it because we need that rise. My oven is preheating to 400 degrees, and now what I'm going to do is just take and put this muffin mixture into 12 greased muffin tins. So we've got our 12 muffins, and now I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of sugar in the raw. And what I did was I washed out an Old Spice shaker really well, let it dry thoroughly, and then I filled it with sugar in the raw. And I just put a little sprinkling on top of muffins and breads. It just adds a nice little crispy, crunchy topping. So I'm going to put this in the oven for 20 minutes, and then we'll see how they did. These came out beautifully. Make sure you let them cool in the pan until you can handle them, and then you take them out and put them on a wire rack to cool completely. Look at how beautiful these are. Now the real test will be the taste. So these muffins have cooled beautifully. I'm gonna cut it. Let's see what the inside looks like. Oh, it's got a nice little crispy coating on top. Oh, they look beautiful. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. All right, here goes the taste test. Okay, I always turn off the camera when we taste them, and I did that, and this is what's left. Okay, they're really good. The taste is subtle. It is not a very overly sweet muffin, right, Paul? Would you agree?
No, it's not overly sweet.
You could put a little jelly on this, a little butter. We're gonna freeze them. I'll leave like 2 out, and we're gonna freeze them. But I think what worked so well was a little bit of eggnog. And again, my cranberry sauce had some raisins in it and some walnuts. They're delicious. The only thing I would tell you is this is not a super sweet muffin. You saw we only put a half a cup of brown sugar in it. So, and the cranberries kind of make it a little tart, but it is delicious. I think these are gonna freeze beautiful. What a great way to use up eggnog if you have it. If not, like I said, just some milk for it. And great way to use up leftover cranberries. Win-win. So what we did was with the leftover wings and legs, we froze them immediately, and they will make a wonderful stock. And I can cut the meat off the bones after I recook it in a stock. Then when Paul prepared it for the refrigerator for us to eat off the breast, he took the back off and we froze that immediately. Paul did a beautiful job of getting the meat off of this. So the back and the carcass, and then we have some skin, which adds amazing flavor. Now this will all go in to the freezer, 0 food waste, that's our mantra, for another pot of soup stock. So that will go in there. Then what he did, he cut off the rest of the breast meat. And what we're going to do with this now is freeze this. We are going to vacuum seal this. Even if you don't own a vacuum seal, put it in a plastic Ziploc bag, freezer worthy, and get all the air out. The trick is to get as much air out as you can because you do not want this to dry out. And then what you can do is take the plastic bag and just roll it. You can even put it inside another plastic bag. And then you want to use it. I don't like to freeze turkey and chicken for very long, cook turkey and chicken for very long. It does tend to dry out. But if you use it within the next month, it will be perfect. Casseroles, stews, whatever you want to do with it. Here are the 2 packages of the cooked turkey that Paul food savored for me. But again, if you don't have a food saver, when you put it in the plastic bag, get as much air as you can out of it. And what he did, he'd made some slices in this one, and this is more of chopped up so that different recipes would call for different things. And now they're going to go into the freezer. And now he also took the rest of the meat off of the carcass of the turkey. And now I am going to make a turkey tetrazzini with this for today. Because again, it's been 3 days. This meat either needs to be eaten today or frozen. You do not want to keep it in the refrigerator much longer. So let's get on to our tetrazzini. In this pot, I have 4 tablespoons of melting butter. To that, I'm going to add 2 stalks of cut up celery and about a half an onion. And I'm just going to saute that until it's tender. So the onion and the celery cooked. A couple of minutes now and they are crisp tender. Now I'm going to add a clove of garlic, because you don't want the garlic to burn like I always tell you. You just want that fragrant before you go on to the next step. Just to cook it just a little bit. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of flour. Just going to move this around. We're going to toast this flour a little bit, cook it up so it doesn't have that pasty taste. And we're just basically making a beautiful roux. Remember, no canned soups for us, right? All right, so we're going to let that cook for all of about a minute or so. All right, this is over medium heat. We cook this for about 2 minutes. You want to keep stirring it too. You don't want this to burn. Now what I'm going to do, a cup, and this is low sodium chicken broth. So we're going to do a cup, and this is over medium heat because I'm right here watching it. 1.25 cups of broth and a cup of milk. And now we're going to whisk this together. And we're just going to whisk this until it gets nice and thick. So what I did while I was making this was I also put on a pot to boil, and I made dried pasta. Now usually tetrazzini calls for spaghetti or linguine. I don't do that. I made cavatappi, which is a spiral pasta. So any kind of pasta. And taste your sauce. Being that I used low sodium broth, I added just a little bit of salt. And I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper as well. This way we control the sodium, we control the seasonings. Give this a good whisk and you can see how beautiful and thick this has become. Now to this, so I turn this to low and you can see how beautifully thick it is. Perfect. Now what I'm going to add to this is about a cup of really good grated Parmesan cheese. But you can use any kind of Parmesan cheese you prefer. And I'm going to add a half a cup of peas, frozen. And it's okay that they have a little ice on them. It'll just go right in. And I'm just going to mix this all together. And go easy on the salt, because you have to remember Parmesan cheese has a lot of salt. It is a very salty cheese. So always taste as you go. Do not add. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. And to this, I am going to add 2 cups of that beautiful cubed turkey breast. And we're just going to gently incorporate this. I greased my baking dish and I put about 6 ounces of cooked pasta. So it's 6 ounces before it's cooked. And again, I used the cavatappi, which are these little curly cues, but you could use whatever you want. Now we're going to add this right to this. This is such a great comfort food dish. And after all the turkey sandwiches, it's a nice change of pace. I am going to mix this all together gently. And you can see this ooey gooiness of the cheese that just melted right into this. So my oven has been preheating to 350. So it's just about ready. This looks so good. And now what I'm going to do is my extra special little secret that I always do on top of my casseroles, which you all know. On the top is just take some low sodium buttery crackers, and you can use breadcrumbs, you can use whatever you want. Just a little coating to give it that little special crunch, and then just a tiny bit more of Parmesan on top. And that's all there is to this. So I'm gonna pop it in a 350 oven, and I'm just gonna let it cook for about 20 to 30 minutes. I just want to heat it through. That's all there is to it, so in it goes to a 350 oven. This cooked at 350 for just about 20 minutes. Oh my goodness. Look at this turkey and pasta goodness. All right, here it goes. Let's taste a little bit of turkey and a little bit of pasta. Get a little bite of peas in there. Oh my gosh. All right, this is a total win, and I'm not kidding. Oh my goodness. It is so delicious. It's creamy, but it's not heavy. The turkey, you can taste it. The peas, the onions, the celery. Oh my goodness. Please, this is really good. What a great way to use this leftover turkey. 2 thumbs up for sure. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. I hope these recipes and these little tips and hints were helpful, because so many times we look at that turkey and we're like, now what do we do with it? But freeze the pieces you haven't used already and make that turkey tetrazzini. You will not be sorry, I promise. And that cranberry sauce, turn it into muffins. Like I said, if you don't have eggnog, use regular milk. They were so good. We put a little bit of jelly on them. You could put some cream cheese. Oh, they were just so great. And what a great way to use up cranberry sauce. What do you do with that? And the rest, we're just gonna freeze. And then when we want one, we'll pull them out the night before, wrap them in plastic, and defrost them in the refrigerator. So I hope this video blessed you. I hope it showed you some ways, again, to save some money and just help you on your frugal journey. You know we love you. You know how special you are to us. Please stay well, stay safe, and until our next video, we wish you blessings. Bye-bye.